Oh my goodness. Look, I had to put my old glasses back on because I think my newer ones, well, they're making my eyes twitch. I'm getting this little, a twitch, twitch, twitch in my eyeballs. Oh, yeah, looks like we have a lot of things to look at. The painting in the back is an old Cézanne painting. It's made after an artist Cézanne, and he's that is a painting of my dog and his old good friend Bananas. Come on, dude, it's killing me. That's Kiddo over here and Bananas, and there's a cat on the back of it. That was at my vet's. I had a dog, a Kiddo. My dog, his name's Kiddo, and we used to live on a boat out at Houseboat Row, swinging around on an anchor out in the water. That was my whole idea, to learn how to become an artist. And I wasn't going to live on land and pay hundreds of millions of dollars for rent, and or have a relationship after relationship just so we could have a place to live. I said, hell no, I don't want to do any of that shit. So I lived at Houseboat Road, and I got this dog one day, and his name was Kiddo. His little white German Shepherd, and well, he lived to about 18 years old. But when he was about 3 months old, one morning we were coming across. We live on a big highway, and when we come ashore, there was a few dogs running around loose. Pepper and another dog. Well, anyways, because I mean, it's a house. It's a community, and we're talking about 32, 33, 4 years ago. So it was a lot different place than this now. And well, anyways, the kiddo got away from me, and so he, I could see it in his eyes. I gotta pee, because that's the first thing you have to do in the morning. You gotta get up, get dressed, get going, get up, get uh, dinghy into shore, get up there, get everything going, and the next thing just go across the street and take a pee. Well, he got hit by a truck on the way across, and so the whole point of this whole thing was is that, oh my God, here's this poor man. I had just moved into town, hadn't been around for very long, and wasn't even an artist or something. I just want to be, and here I am showing up at this vet's office with this dog that's near pink. All the blood's about drained out of him. I had my hand down in all of this business trying to hold everything together. Blood squirting out all over the place. And so they gave him some kind of sedative and stuff like that, and said if he lived through the night, then they would work on him. But these two guys, these two vets, they were young men too those days. And he said, well, if he lives through it, if he can live through the night, we'll do what we can to fix him up. And so they did. Kiddo did. He lived. Everything lived. He lost his back leg in the process. And I took one of the D's out of his name, so then it was just called Kid O. And we've had ever since then many, many lives and stuff like that. I mean, just a great time. Absolutely. Wonderful dog. But anyways, that vet just closed shop or sold it to someone else. And the guys, I did this painting. It's my first painting I ever did. And it's what I did use to pay him off. I ain't got no money. There was two paintings. This was for this shop, and another one went to the other guy's place. So, anyways, they've left and they gave me back this painting. So that's my very first painting ever, And that one over here is just the one we just did a class, and the class was about pelicans. So, anyways, very interesting grouping that people seem to This idea of the birth of Christ, and giving birth to Christ seems to raise some eyebrows in the group. It's kind of cool. No one doesn't do much talking. The idea of the firstborn in these stories, everyone thinks, and they all start out like this, even at the beginning of the stories, with Moses and when he was born, and how there was a decree that these people were afraid that the slaves were going to rise up and revolt against them. Well, I'll be damned if that's not just the very thing that our Bible is about. Getting up and taking over from someone else. You're supposed to take someone else's inheritance. You're supposed to trick them out of it, take them, and then, believe it or not, you wind up with all the goods in the end, But the firstborns were taken away a long time ago. And the idea of the tilling of the field, this is what Cain represents in these stories also. Adam. This red Adam, this red Esau, all these red and ruddy guys. This all represents the lower mind, and this idea of passion and our emotions. And of course, blood in these stories are about fire. The third phase of consciousness is fire. Delta is fire. This is fire and brimstone. This is Jesus coming down to scorch the earth, and this sounds really terrible, but in reality, that's Mother Jesus baptizes us with the Holy Ghost. So how many different jobs do you want to give this guy? How terrible do you want to make him? So if those people wanted to save themselves from this curse, then they would have been connected to God. Because once you're connected to God, it's just one trip up, And I haven't seen much more from that in these Bibles other than that, but I still keep practicing because, I can't find it in there that says you've got to stop. But the idea is we're to shut off the lower mind and circumcise ourselves from the lower mind. And of course, when you go whoop up there, then you're circumcised. You're cut off from the lower mind. The lower mind is changed. And so there's no more of this. You're connected already. You're in a place where your counsel is coming talking to you while you're awake and alive, as I'm here with you right now talking to you. And so, it's not something, oh, I lost it. We've read scripture that says, once you got it, you got it. It's forever. Nothing can take you away. Not even Mara, all right, or the devil. No one, nothing. You can't. The idea of being disconnected from God is that he's taken away your messenger. He's taken away what's between us. He's taken away that little flight, that little business. And this is when there's famine in the land in those days. And the way it works is that it tells us in the Bible that you've got to do this first. You've got to serve the bitch first. So famine in the land, and this is the male and a male energy, and they're not going to be able to birth a child. They're not going to be able to have this kid. She's watering you in such a way that you just love it. And so the seed spoils and gets disgusting and, whatever, It's along for the ride. But I'll tell you that this is the firstborn. The firstborn is begotten, not made. That's why men and women both can do this. That's why a circumcision is what is needed to do this. And that's also something a male and a female can do. It doesn't have anything to do with your penis, So we're just getting a little mixed up in the wording of everything, But in the beginnings of things, when the child is going to be born, we hear that the king is going to try to kill all of them to try to keep some kind of control. That's the way all the stories go. And then later on, when we finally get Moses crossing over to the other side, after he has been his time with the king, after he has done his side with the mind, the story opened up with him killing an Egyptian. And then he finds him at the well, and then he meets all these women, and he marries this woman, So your idea, do you see that this is all, they're all following the same story, but the Egyptian that he killed was himself. He killed that, because now he's a Jew. And now he's asked to you go in and you tell this guy you're going to fix this up, you know. And in these stories here, even still, God says, go in there and make them do this. And then Pharaoh is saying, no, but at the same time, he's saying, I'm going to harden his heart. And so he's going to say, no, you can't go, but he does say, go ahead, go out in the street or go out in the wilderness, go out there and deal with your God. Put those 3 days in. God comes in there and makes it worse. I'm going to make it so that when he makes it over to this other side, he's going to be like, thank God it's over with, and that's the way it is, Those of us in the world, you can go through some hell. I've had a very hellacious life. I have hardly had it handed to me. But I've done a lot of it all by myself. And that's one of the things about this, is that when you finally wake up and all, it's that I'm doing it myself. You're pulling your own ass up, stuff like that. But your firstborn is your soul. And when we give up our soul, is to come to life, to be able to live, to be able to have this life that we're doing, to have things. And you already, in the story already tells you there, what does it bother you, or what is it to have everything in the world, and then to lose your soul in the process? So do you understand, we've got everything in the world, and so we don't have our soul. It's our soul is going to lift us out of this place that we're in. That's the job of him. He's going to spank the skin, and he's going to spank mom, or the fake mom. She's gone. She's gone. That's where I am at now. That's where I'm hoping to bring you guys one day. Is that one day we got to kick mom back to the curb because there's no room for her. But we have to also learn that we have to understand that she is the snare that gets people even involved in this program, of salvation. And of course, a lot of the words and things that we're finding in our Bible are not all that happy. Where did the gospel, goodwill, good word come in? It's a happy thing. Well, it's part of the folly, all right? But anyhow, we are in charge of this baby. We are making this child, and then we're supposedly in this way, this child now will grow. And as it grows, the light inside you grows, you grow, things happen. Do I know what? Hell no, I don't know what. But I'm watching. But this trip is a one-way trip up. Whereas if you're with her, it's around and around. You never make it out into the water. You never get this change. You never come about it. It's circles, it's the rings, it's Saturn. All right. That sounds funny to blame it on that, but that's how the damn shit works, It's got control over you, And the mark of the beast and things, the mark of the beast is that you do have a pineal gland in your head, and it's all in your hand. Everything is in your hands. So it's just a play of words, Take a little bit of cognitive thinking, some way of putting things together and understanding that you got to go through hell before you get to heaven. And then heaven is just a state of mind. And so you don't have any granted any great little magic things or anything like that. I don't know who would or why would anybody want it. We can't just touch someone and heal them. What we do is we teach them and open their eyes. We teach them, and then they're no longer, deaf. And we teach them, and they have no longer a hardened heart. It's about love. Everything is the most beautiful thing on this other side. And that's the way it works, and then it becomes a partnership. And it's a one-way trip. You've gotten over the circle part. You've gotten over mankind. You don't have to do it again. And no, you're not going to do a bunch of stupid shit, but at least this time, I'm a queer, queers in the Bible. bad, bad. Well, that's because the two men, them and the word, our conscious mind is male, both male and females. The left side of their brains are male energy. And the soul of ours is birthed through us, all of us. Firstborn male. It's a male energy. Just can't help it. Female is it's outside everything. You know, it's an emptiness that births stuff. You know, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, anyways, you know, giving birth to Jesus, giving birth to you, because Jesus is you. You're supposed to see yourself as Moses. You're supposed to see yourself as all of these guys. First, you have to see yourself as Cain. You always have to see yourself as Abram and Sarai. These are all things without the breath of God. We all have to start off that way. We have to. We have to. And it shows very well that God chooses us. We don't choose God. But we have to be in the field in order to get plucked out of it. So you still got to do your job. You got to believe in Jesus. You got to believe in all this. And then it's just miraculous. Once the whole thing is over with, you know, I still love Jesus. I still love this energy and I believe in this thing, but it's no longer real because I know no one has to be murdered and tortured like the letter says in order to achieve this higher conscious, this death and this torture. This is your trespass. This is all of the stuff that it takes you to get there. And that's following the word and running with the devil. All right. Hope you got something out of this. You know, talk to you later.